So, what is today? Today is Saturday, April 6th. Wow, it's April already. In 2019, of course. And do I have any, I don't know if I did any stuff offline since last time. Let's see. Check this. Check recently merged things. Oh yeah, I didn't really do anything since last time. Last time we worked on adding some linting for pyflakes, which found some like invalid format strings, both with like f strings, new style string formatting and old style string formatting. I fixed that up a little bit offline because there were a bunch of cases that I wasn't handling. Things like this star format, which consumes one of the arguments, as well as the same equivalent for dot format. I also wasn't handling like dotted names and a couple other things. Oh, and I was miscategorizing mixed formatting, but anyway, I fixed that up. I used it to find a bunch of like small issues in projects. So for instance, one from my project where I have an f string here that has no substitution parameters, so definitely found that mistake there. This was probably my favorite thing that it found. And admittedly, the code is a little bit misleading here on what's happening. So what I intended to do was have this formatted string be printed to standard error. But this parenthesis actually matches with this parenthesis, and so it was feeding file equals standard error into the format call, and then, of course, doing nothing. So the fix for this is to move this outside of this parenthesis. But I thought that was kind of amusing. I also found some issues in some other projects that I made pull requests for them. So one of them was in CPython itself, made basically the same exact mistake that I made here. Oh, who plus one that? Oh, I see. But yeah, made the same mistake that I did with file equals standard error going into this format call here. But it was an easy one character, well, I guess 2 character change, because one deletion, 1 addition. How did I find it? Oh, I used this pull request, this pyflakes pull request that I implemented last time. So basically, GitHub. I can actually show you how I found the issues in this project with the same approach. Let me check out my PR, and then I can run pyflakes with that. Is it string formatting? Yeah, I think so. So I can run pyflakes like this against a bunch of files here, and you can see like this is the new lint that I introduced. We'll just stop that because there's a bunch of other stuff here. Oh, there's a star import. Oh, I guess in the OS module makes sense. But yeah, it was able to, like, I can run pyflakes against code even though it's not released. So it can see that if I look at that file on line, was it 39? Yeah, so it says that unused arguments at position 2. So in fact, yeah, it's not wrong. There's only 2 format things being used here, and this one is completely unused. I was pretty happy with the results of finding so many like little problems like that. I also found some in some popular libraries. So let's see, where are those pull requests at the end? So MyPy had a couple to fix. Most of the ones in MyPy were just like format, but there were no specifiers to format into. So like these ones are of that class. where it's just like remove the format and it's good. But this one would have been an actual like error that hit a bug, kind of. If it ever raised this exception, it would have gotten a key error instead of actually showing this exception. Little fix there. But the reason like very few things were found with this is because they do cause runtime errors, and so it's like a good catch up front to prevent those runtime errors. Also found, where's the other one? Oh yeah, it was this one. Yeah. I found a single format string in AWS CLI that also had this problem. This %dot would have errored if this line ever ran. I wasn't interested in actually reproducing the problem, but if you take this format string and try and run it in an interpreter, it'll crash. I guess I could just do that. Okay, no, it's this. So what they had before was this S was missing. What? Unexpected unindent. Oh, sure. What do you mean topic? Oh. I'm just trying to demonstrate this. There we go. Unsupported format character space. Which is exactly what would happen here. But with my fix, by putting a %s there, it succeeds. But that's what we did last time. That's what I fixed up since last time. I think this PR is probably ready to go. I ran it on a ton of code and didn't find any other issues. Hopefully it'll get merged. Then continue to work. Oh, uptime's working now. Well, thanks Twitch API. It must just have like some sort of delay, which doesn't surprise me all that much given the rest of the Twitch platform. But yeah, that's working. My plans for today are to improve the startup time of pytest. I've already kind of written the branch that does it, but I want to do it from scratch again because like the approach changed, and that way you guys will see how I'll profile stuff. And I think that's something just like crashed or blew up outside. I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully it's fine. But yeah, I want to show some like profiling. 50%? That seems way lower than our coverage count. Yeah, our coverage is like 95%. Confusing. Anyway, but yeah, I want to show how I go through profiling something that's slow and then improving the speed from there. The bottleneck that I know already exists because I've profiled in the past is a module called package resources. Which does a bunch of work at import time. Oh, that's less than it used to be. But if you look at just like a trivial import of the Python interpreter, yeah, I'm gonna profile it. I'm gonna go through all of the profiling steps here. But like package resources happens to be the bottleneck. I know that already, but I'm gonna show you how I figured that out before. We're going to use 3 different approaches for profiling today. One is just going to be rough, like using time. Another is going to be importing or profiling imports. And then we'll also use cprofile to show the actual execution times. And then plot it with some other tools. And I'll provide links to those tools as we go into them. But the first part is just like we'll just be doing time pytest help. And like profiling that, we want everything to go to devnull. not Python help, pytest. And so we can see that like a trivial run of pytest is taking like already 350 milliseconds before your tests would even run, and we're going to try and reduce that a lot today. I happen to know that the package resources problem is excavated by the number of things you have installed. So I've intentionally installed a bunch of packages, and that's why I'm working in this repository, because it has a bajillion dependencies. We're also going to be using Python 3.7 today because Python version. We're going to be using 3.7 today because it has this new feature called X import time, which shows you like a module graph of the import time. And we're going to be using a tool on top of that I wrote called, what is it called? Import time waterfall, I think? Yeah, so this is a tool that's based on X import time, and it allows you to generate kind of a graphic that you can sort of visualize how your imports are taking up time, and we'll be using that today. Explain the X import time print. Sure. So that was the other reason that I wrote the import time waterfall package, is I think this output is a little bit confusing, partially because it's upside down. But the way it works is it will print kind of import statistics as the interpreter runs. OS is probably not a good module to try it with. What's a better module? Email? Hey, Sergey OXFF, thanks for following. Every follow counts. Or Sergey255, I guess. Hello! Yeah, well, what is it? Email.parser? Yeah, there we go. There's a better example. So the way the import time output works is each time a module is imported, the import machinery will print off one line to standard error, and that line contains the self times, the amount of time that it took to import the module itself, as well as the cumulative time, which I forget. Oh, the cumulative time includes all of the imports that it caused as a side effect. It also indents them as the depth of the import. And the reason I say that it appears upside down is in this output here, the encodings module triggered the import of these things here. And so that's why this cumulative time, this minus this is approximately the same as the time for these modules here. And that's why when we look at email.parser, it's the very last thing, and like it triggered the import of all of these things here. But I thought that was kind of annoying, so let's see, pip install import time waterfall. So in my package, I forget how it works. Import time waterfall. Graph, and the module is email.parser. So I switched the output to be like top down, so you can see like kind of a tree of all the modules that happen. And I don't remember what's in parentheses here. I think it's the self time. That's the more useful time. Yeah, self time in microsecond. But the more interesting output of this is the har output. We use the xclip selection. Let's see. So if we do the same thing but with HAR, which is HTTP archive, it's really just a format that I'm abusing to be able to get a visualization here. But if we run that and paste it to our clipboard, we can then put it into a visualizer, which gives us kind of a nice like timeline of when the imports happen. You can see like here, like this is the module we were profiling. Now the times are bogus here because har doesn't have support for microsecond times, so this is actually 10 times the amount, or 1,000 times the amount. I don't remember, some large factor that makes it reasonable. But when you're looking at this output, you can kind of see like the gray blobs are the slower modules because they do lots of work at their module scope, and like there aren't too many slow things about email.parser. I just happen to know it's one that triggers a bunch of modules as a side effect. But if we look here, like hashlib is one that does more work at the module time than other modules, and socket is another one. But we're going to use this kind of as our first level pass at profiling pytest. And so we saw the time for help before. What was it? Help. Time pytest help. And so this was like 350 milliseconds. That's a little bit more than just importing pytest, if I remember right. Yeah, so just importing pytest is only like 100 some milliseconds, which is acceptable, I guess. This is kind of the goal, is to get down to like 100 milliseconds for the help output. But just profiling, I guess we can profile just the imports of pytest now, although I doubt we'll find much to improve here. Do that and go back to our viewer. Oh, and I'm doing it rather quickly, but this command here causes the output of this command to go into the clipboard, and the output is this big JSON blob that has I can expand this. Yeah, so it's this giant JSON blob that pretends to be a bunch of HTTP requests and contains the timing information, and that's what is used to generate these graphs here. So this is what the import time of pytest looks like. Let's see if there's anything super interesting here. Not really, though. Like, a lot of these are pretty short module imports, and like not too much side effects, which is kind of to be expected. Like, it was only 120 milliseconds. Interesting that adders seems to spend a little bit of time there. The platform module doesn't surprise me that much. If I remember right, it does some stuff at the module scope. Here's the part where it does work. I mean, it makes some regexes, but that's not super slow. I could have sworn it did some work at the module scope, but I could be misremembering. It's probably just the building of all these regexes, because it's kind of slow. But yeah, the pytest import itself, there isn't too much to optimize here. But we can abuse this tool to import a different module that just runs pytest.main with --help. I think this works. Cannot concatenate list to list, not tuple to list. I guess this has to be a list then. What? Oh. We're gonna uninstall pytest async.io since it's incompatible with this. Warning, could not load initial conf tests. I'm just gonna get rid of the tests. Okay. Maybe this is more reasonable now? Oh, it's even slower now. Okay, so there was actually a crash that I was missing while profiling it earlier. Time pytest help. I want to send everything to DevNull. Okay, so this is our more reasonable baseline that we're trying to reduce. I usually like to do best of 5 just because it's a reasonably good number, but I don't know. 457 milliseconds is probably our starting case. And so we have this t.py, which I'm just using to trigger this side effect. That way I can profile it with import time. But we'll use the T module to do that. And so import time behind the scenes, or this module. Import time, is it configurable? No. It does a best of 5 or best of 10 or something like that, so that's why there was such a long pause here. But if we view this now, we should see... Okay, so this self time here... Weird. I don't know. Well, let's scroll down and find the big gray blobs. Yeah, so this is what I was expecting to see, is package resources taking most of the time, including a lot of time in this gray region, which is the module side effects. And a lot of that is because package resources, well, a lot of this portion is because package resources triggers some slow imports, the biggest one being this vendored pyparsing. What is this one? Packaging.specifiers. But this gray time is because package resources builds up a whole cache of all of the installed packages. We also spend a lot of time importing hypothesis, which is not something I'm going to try and optimize out today, but something to consider. Also, NumPy gets involved here. I didn't even know I had NumPy installed. But yeah, most of this is not large stuff. Like, most of the time here, or most of the like workable time here is spent in package resources, and that's what we're going to try and factor out today. The next thing to show is how I would generate a similar graph to this, but using cProfile. cProfile. It's capital P. I just forget. Yeah. So we're going to output to the output format, which is pstats. Test.pstats. And we're just going to run that same script file that I had before, so that t.py. And this is the output of pytest help. We should have a pstats file here. Yeah. Data, great. And we're going to be using a tool called gprof2dot, which basically allows us to convert from the pstats format to an SVG, or to dot, and then we'll use dot to convert it to SVG. But I'm actually, so this is the end goal, is to get something that looks like this. I'm actually going to be using a fork of gprof2dot because I happen to know it has some nice fixes that I committed while I was at Yelp. Here we go. And it's installed using Yelp gprof2dot instead of just gprof2dot. And like the things I added to this was like fixes for Firefox, Python 3 support, some other stuff. Contributors. Fixed font size for pytest, or for Firefox, yeah, it's not wrong, and fix a Python 3 issue. Yes. But anyway, we have this pstats file now, and then we can run gprof to dot. I don't remember the options, so we'll use help. Can I move the window to the left? Yes, I can. Do you want me to move to this window over here? I'll do that. Or do you mean like move the whole screen? Or do you mean move my person to the left? Or do you mean this window here? The Chrome window? I guess I could move the Chrome window. you'll have to tell me which one. I'll wait for the stream delay. Percentage. Eliminate nodes below this threshold. So we'll probably just eliminate things less than 1%. Oh, to move Chrome to the left, yeah. See, I feel like I move this around every other stream. Like, some streams I'm over here, some streams I'm over here. It doesn't matter anymore, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I could move this over. But then I should resize or move my VM slightly. Move that several pixels over. And I can click on this here. Oh, that's all sorts of messed up. Needs to be taller. I promise I know what I'm doing. Yeah, so we're gonna upload to a dot file. And we're gonna cut off some of the percentages here. I find that these numbers are a little bit too, like don't remove enough. So we're gonna do E1 and then N1, I think is the one that I've done before. We can adjust those later if it's not good enough. So now we have a dot file, which is basically just a description of edges. Then we'll use dot, which I don't remember how to use dot either. Let's see. Right to that file. Where's the T? Set the output format to V. I think I want dot T SVG, pytest.svg, and then pytest.dot. And then I think I can open it with Firefox? I don't know. Where's... So our graph still contains lots and lots of nodes, so let me see. I can probably shrink this down some more. What's up, Quickfloor? Haven't seen you in a while. I miss you. Thanks, friend. Gprof to dot. I'm gonna set this a little bit higher, I guess. Okay, that shrinks our graph down a little bit more. So if we look at the critical path here, we should start at t.py, which, yeah, so built-in exec, so it's running our module, and then t.py, which is where everything happens. And if we trace this critical path, so this is kind of the bottleneck path. Are you hacking the Google? No, I'm not this time. I'm working on improving performance for pytest and kind of showing how I'm profiling that. Yeah, so if we get to this, this is kind of like the things that always happen, and 40% of it is spent in this load setup tools entry points, and 30% of it is spent in this check version. So if we look at check version, it triggers an import, and this is where things get really tangly. I wish it was a little bit more linear. The eventual answer is, oops, I don't want to bookmark that. Where's the package resources part? Or maybe I've optimized it out at this point. Okay, I happen to know that this init.py is package resources, because it's on line 2421 has a load function. Two, 4, 2, 1. Yeah, there's our load function. Am I exploiting the Linux kernel? Are you trying to get me banned on Twitch? No, I'm not. I'm not good enough to hack on the Linux kernel. But yeah, this is the kind of bottleneck here, which triggers some imports, and we'll try and factor that out. You should say that. Yeah. Then you're gonna clip it. But if we look at where package resources and setup tools get involved in pytest, which I have cloned here, package resources or setup tools in Python files. So we can ignore it in setup.py. We can. I'm not sure whether I can factor this one out yet, but we'll see when we get to that. But this is the part where package resources gets involved. So here it's trying to load all of the pytest entry points to apply the import rewriting code to. So we'll have to change this to use a different approach instead. And the approach that we'll be working on, or we'll be using, is importlib-metadata, which is kind of the magical replacement for package resources that doesn't have the performance problems of package resources. How is work? Work is going well. Lyft, I guess since last time we talked, Lyft went public. So there's been the whole IPO dance, and now it's on NASDAQ, and people spend way too much time looking at this roller coaster of a graph. Although I can't sell my stock until the lockup period is over, so I just have to sit tight and hope it continues in this roughly upward direction. I guess 1 month is a better, yeah. But that was crazy. It was a fun it was a fun day during IPO. Yeah, the other half of package resources is from the plugin loading system of pytest. Which is this module called pluggy. Which does a bunch of different package resources stuff. So we'll be factoring that out. I think the easiest place to start is with pluggy, and I'll show you my branch that I already did this in, but then we're gonna re-implement it again because I think the APIs have changed since then. Fetch all true. Yeah, so I have this factor out package resources branch, which basically replaced stuff with importlib-metadata. But I basically had to take anywhere where package resource is getting used and turn it into importlib-metadata instead. Tell me about personal relationships. Well, I don't have any personal relationships right now, so... Null, void, empty, nothing, sadness? I don't know what to... Yeah, cry party. Install requires... Where's the install requires? Oh, does it not have any dependencies? It's only sneaky dependencies right now? So are you null or empty? Well, I exist. So empty is probably better? Or not a number? What's up, bad, bad, bad? I don't think pluggy has any dependencies right now. Or at least if it does, I don't see them. I mean about girlfriend stuffs. Yeah. You want me to talk shit is what you're saying. Okay, so I added it last time. Use the import waterfall? Oh, for the cry party? So I happen to know that version 9 is the one that we need to make this work. And so I'm going to start by running the test. Oh, to check the pluggy dependencies? Yeah, I could do that. Let me set up a virtual env first. Is that even what I wanted to do? Let's see. Oh, they have weird environments. This is what I wanted. Oh, doesn't test against Python 3.7. Oh well, I'm gonna use Python 3.7 because that's the minimum version I need to use import time. Talks, Python 3.7, bin. What is the... I guessed the import time waterfall. Xclip dash selection C. See, I was close. And har viewer. Why didn't it render? Oh, because I did not. I did graph. Yeah. Okay, so importing a pluggy. These are all standard lib. It looks like it defers the import of package resources. Yeah, so it doesn't happen at the model scope. It should be from or import. Yeah, so the package resources import gets delayed. That's why it doesn't show up in this graph. It doesn't get run until actual runtime. But we could trigger that import. Load setup tools entry points. How do we construct these Plugin manager. From plugging. That works. Init. I don't know how the API of this thing works. Something like this. Pytest. There we go. So now I could use import time, waterfall. Oh, we want this fake module that I was doing. Okay, so import of pluggy, and then import of package resources down here. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. What is org.python? Is that a real module? Sounds like Java. Seems to not exist. What module did it come from? It came from the copy module? What is the most Pythonic code you've ever seen? You mean like Pythonic in a good way or Pythonic in a bad way? Oh, here we go. Here's where the org.python comes from. It looks like import time even shows failed modules. I don't know why this is here, because I don't think this module has existed or ever existed. The most Pythonic code. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm a good judge of what is or isn't Pythonic. I think an empty file would probably be the best code I've ever seen. Because all code is bad, right? Not sure. I've seen some like very sneaky code. Yeah, init.py. I've seen some incredibly sneaky code using quote-unquote Pythonic things. I don't know that that makes it good or the best or the most Pythonic. A file which doesn't exist is the best. Oh yeah, sure, like people use this pattern all the time and say it's Pythonic, where you like try it's kind of the like ask for forgiveness pattern rather than permission, which actually like this pattern has some good side effects too, because if you did something like if os.path.exists f and then with open file name, like this actually, if you write it this way, it has a race condition where you you identify existence here, but then here the file gets deleted, and then this errors. So there's like actually a problem with this approach here. But like this one doesn't have that race because there's no check before existence. Like the check is just when it fails, it fails. Can you make a calculator in one line? I mean, yeah. Calculator equals eval. Done. Check Python code disasters. Alright, look at that. This code is so bad that it's worth sharing. Oh boy. I mean, I've tweeted about a bunch of stuff like this. Let's see, Python. AI battleship game. I haven't seen anything particularly bad so far, other than all of these like infinite loops. Oh, here we go. This looks like some code that I've written before. Or this. It's not the worst, but it's like... So one of my projects at work right now is to add Flake8 linting to all of our Python repositories. And almost all of them have gone pretty smoothly. We have about, I don't know, 600 or 700 Python repositories. But we have 2 repositories that have over 10,000 failures, linting failures in them. And I don't really know what to do with those ones. First major Python project. How far are your eyes from the monitor? It looks very close. Let's see. Like, do a non-scientific measurement. It's like... I don't know. 80 centimeters or so? I am probably too close to my screens, but I don't know. I also have to like swivel my head to look from the leftmost part of my screen to the rightmost part of my screen, so maybe it's fine. I would probably do better by like sitting back here and no, 80, like 80. Like almost a meter. I would probably do better to sit back here and have proper posture and not rest my wrists on my desk and all of that, but oh, this is gonna be good. Look at all these global variables. "80 centimeters is far away. Normal is like 40. 40 would be like here. Like here-ish. Hey, what's up, Aaron Raff? How's your day going? Hi, can you share any thoughts on software engineer in test in comparison to normal developers? Do you mean like quality assurance versus like quality engineering, or like what do you mean by software engineer in test? I do have terrible posture, by the way, for programming and stuff. So like I can't really talk well about posture. Yeah, what was I doing? Oh, identifying package resources. But yeah, what do you mean by software engineering test? Like, I can talk a little bit about like quality engineering versus like feature development. Oh, this is as a job title. Let me look up the official title before I start pretending my own definition of it. Let's see, software engineering test. SDET. Oh yeah. Let me educate myself a little bit before I provide an opinion. Why would I want notifications? No, go away. Okay, yeah, so it is essentially like QA and software engineer crossover. But what's the difference? What makes them different? Developer instead of... What? In what world would I want whatever is popping up right now? Go away. I need to chat about an article. Hi, I'm Mike. What are you looking for? Fuck all, Mike. Go away. I'm trying to read your article. QA engineers are testers who do not need to have any programming experience. So yeah, we kind of have, at least at Lyft, we have a role that's similar to what you would refer to as SDET. We have kind of 3 developer-ish roles, or at least roles that I interact with that are kind of developer-y like. One of them is QA engineering, which is almost, well, it's similar to what they describe here as like having no requirement for software engineering skills. At Lyft, it's not strictly that way. Like there's slightly more engineering involved in that. And then we have QE, which is basically the same as SDET, but we call it QE for whatever reason. Where their focus is on building like test systems for quality or for QA, as well as interfacing with developers to make sure that those quality engineering systems continue to work. And then we have developers, or like software engineers, SWE, SWEs as some call it, who, even though they aren't like, their primary goal isn't to do quality engineering or like QA, QE, they're still required to write tests and like make sure that their code continues to work from a testing perspective. Personally, myself, I would not want to be a QE or QA, although technically my first job was QA. So my first job was like, here's a system, run through this like checklist of procedures and make sure that the system continues to work. Although I took my QA job and turned it into more of a QE job and wrote a series of frameworks that automated all of that work, which is pretty, I mean, closer to SDET, although the phrase SDET didn't even exist back then, probably. But I prefer the like more feature-y side of development, where I'm like building tools and like, well, I work on infrastructure, so I don't know. Building features is kind of a different scenario there. But when I was a feature developer, I was much more excited about the feature-y bits. Hopefully that answers that question. How is San Fran? I wouldn't call it San Fran. I would I would say San Francisco myself. At least San Fran is better than saying Frisco. Like, those people, I just want to be like, ugh. Something about Frisco just like grinds my gears. It's fine. Raining today. I managed to get my run in before it started actually coming down. So that was good. I did 6 miles today. My plan was to do 4, but then I got to the 4th mile and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll go further. See how it goes. Doing pretty well. Just looking into some Golang stuff in the moment. How's my day going? My day's going pretty well. Can't complain. My run gave me some nice endorphins, so I'm in a happy mood today, which is good. Writing code, so things are going well. San Fran is cloudy today, I guess. Yeah, it probably is. Let's see whether... Oh, it's my area code. Mostly cloudy. Oh, it doesn't even say rain. There definitely was rain this morning, so this is slightly wrong. 94105 is where I used to live. Mostly cloudy, yeah. This is most days. This is actually a pretty average day for San Francisco. Is 65, well, 20. 20 and mostly cloudy. This is kind of a typical day. I look high. I'm definitely not high. Actually, let's see. I don't think I've actually been high on drugs. I tried, but never actually. And I start asking my beautiful questions. By all means, go for it. Yes, thanks. Although developing tools for other developers is quite related to SET, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fair. I do like working on kind of like infrastructure developer tools, although my title isn't SET or SDET. It is kind of a fine line between just building test frameworks and kind of like quality engineering stuff, and building developer tools, although at Lyft we separate those pretty well, I think. What did I drink? I had some water today. I did not have enough water. I'm thirsty right now, and I'll probably get a drink in a couple minutes. Yeah, just water. Water's my jam. I don't tend to drink... Well, I drink beer, and I like wine. But I don't really drink soft drinks all that much. I do like root beer, but I probably have it once or twice a year and not too often. A new tmux configuration. Alright, I'll look at this. What's that? This is a lot of tmux configuration. Most of it seems to just be coloring now. Let's see. Windows selection. My tmux configuration is super simple. If I even check it in at all. I think I have like one configuration. Oh, I changed the bottom right. This is for a silly reason. Yeah, so I put the date down in the bottom right. Let's see, is there like a no RC mode? Source file -q tmux -q dev null. Nope. -f, there we go. tmux -f dev null. So the default tmux is like this date format down here. The reason that I customized the date format to print out the ISO 861 format. Let's see. The reason that I output this format is I used to be a push master at Yelp, which meant that I would deploy Yelp.com several times a week. Although most push masters it was once every other week. Although I did it 3 times a week, sometimes more. And one requirement to deploy the website was there was a so-called drunk check. And the drunk check was enter the current date in San Francisco. And like, I couldn't be darned to actually check the current date, so I just made sure that my tmux output included that. And deploying using tmux or screen was also a requirement. The tools would make sure that you have it in a screen window, because we used to not deploy in screen, and then if you lost your terminal in the middle of deploying, it would just like destroy the deploy process, and then you'd have to like manually recover. It used to be horribly broken, like wouldn't work. But that's why I have this down here. How do I split? Nope, that's how you show the time. That? Yeah. And I also have mouse mode enabled to like switch between the two windows for whatever reason. But yeah, that's my tmux config. I'm pretty sure I only had mouse mode to help someone else who was sitting at my desk. I don't actually use tmux all that often. Please try that and give me feedback. Alright, fine. Where was it? This one? Alright. Ooh, some nice colors. Control B %. And the colors are nice. I don't know. I don't actually use tmux enough to provide a valid opinion on it. but it looks nice. Hey, what's that, Vukat12? What is this screenshot? My Chrome window is usually on the left-hand side, but someone told me to move it to, or usually on the right-hand side, but now it's on the left-hand side. And that seems nice. The little star is a good touch, opposed to the default star. Pop-ups are annoying. Nice clip, yeah. Is that me raging at the SDET website? It's pretty good. What is the most worst things you did at work? Like writing code or like grumbling at people in Slack, probably? I look like a pro with Tmux. Why don't I use it? I don't know. I feel like it gets in the way. What is the worst technical things I've done? I can tell you about one of my favorite old stories about breaking internal tools intentionally. So we had this program called Yelp Love, which is kind of the idea behind Yelp Love is you can send people like short text messages that are like, yeah, thanks for doing this, like +1, cool, like, you did a great thing, yay. What's up? I'm your father 16. Thanks for following. I hope you're not my father. Especially if that 16 is like birth year. Oh no, it wouldn't be birth year because like you'd be 3 years old. That's definitely not it. I don't know what your 16 is about. Maybe it's your age. No, that can't be it either. Maybe you just like the number 16. Cool. But the thing with Yelp Love is like you can there was like a leaderboard and you can keep track of all of the loves that you sent people and stuff. But there was a bug in the early version that allowed you to cross-site script, or not cross-site script, XSRF. XSRF attack. So the basics behind cross-site request forgery is anyone could send a post request to the Yelp Love backend and it wouldn't validate that it actually came from somebody using Yelp Love. And so what I did is I set up a website on the internal services that whenever you opened the website, it would just produce a blank page and people thought it was a bug and so they would refresh the blank page. But anytime the blank page loaded, it would send love to me. And so there was 1 week where I received like 200 plus love just from breaking this internal tool, but they ended up fixing it a long time ago. Let's see if we can find the commit. CSRF maybe? Maybe they rebased it out. But yeah, they rebased it out. So it must have been when it was not public yet. But I definitely this code did not exist, and so I was able to CSRF internal tools. Oh, you're 21. Cool. So you must just like the number 16. Note that my last move failed. Oh. You're right. Is it supposed to be not prefixed? Yeah. Oops, I just tried to quit it like it was Vim. It's definitely not Vim. I have a question after your story. Cool. What's the difference between cores and, I assume, and CSRF? So cores is cross-origin resource sharing. And what it allows you to do is you set specific headers on your web pages. So I'll open up the Wikipedia, or the MDN, that's even better. So what it allows you to do is make cross-domain AJAX requests or XML HTTP requests. Although I think it's funny that, well, I think it's funny that I still call it AJAX. Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Even though almost no one uses the XML component anymore, and more like AJAG, like asynchronous JavaScript and JSON. But anyway, what CORS allows you to do is set headers on the response that enable cross-domain requests. So this would allow specific domains to request the source responses. And it's commonly used to enable APIs to make JavaScript requests externally. In theory, the way you should set up CORS is to explicitly list every domain that you expect to make cross-domain calls against your service. And so, like, I think it was set on Yelp.com for portions. Let's see if we can inspect and see if we can catch one of these cross-origin requests. So I'm gonna look for XHRs. The activity feed, does it have? Looks like it does not. Yeah. There were portions of the Yelp website that set cross-origin resource sharing. Oh, I bet the JavaScript responses do, even though they don't need to. So I think we set up our CDN in that way. Access control, allow origin. Yeah, here we go. So technically the Yelp CDN allows you to... is that the header? What is the header? Yeah. So this header allows someone to make a XML HTTP request from, technically from anything, because it's star here. And I think the reason Yelp used this is there was some CDN asset that was basically just a JSON blob that they wanted to enable requesting from Yelp.com, but I don't remember. Oh no, this is from CDN.js. This is Cloudflare CDN. Where's something that's not from there? Yeah, so here's from a Yelp CDN. Same deal though. But yeah, the difference between CORS, which is just a way to intentionally make cross-domain requests, and XSRF or CSRF, CSRF is nefarious, I guess. The basic CSRF attack looks like this. T.html. You make a form, which is action to someone else's web page. Webpage.com, method equals post, and then you fill out form information here. So say like input type equals hidden, name equals foo, value equals bar, and then you write some format. You write some script. This will just be some janky script. ID equals form. Document dot get element by ID form dot submit. And so this is like the very most basic CSRF attack, assuming that this web page, I guess I should use like example.com/submit, something like this. So this would be like the very most basic CSRF attack, and you would put this either in like an iframe or hidden element on a page and like get people to click on this page and cause a side effect on another website. One common one that is still not patched is if you go to like, Control-Shift-N, if you go to like google.com/logout, maybe it's gmail.com. There's some logout page on Google that is intentionally not CSRF protected, and so you can send people to a website which auto submits a form that causes them to log out, which is kind of jank. But yeah, this is basically the basic way that CSRF attacks happen. And the way they get fixed is if you look, I can probably find one on this page. Form, that's a get form. Let's look on the login page, I guess. Form, yeah, so, and I actually wrote the framework that produces this code, which is why it still has these weird spaces here. But the way you protect against CSRF is you generate a token, and this token behind the scenes is based on several different values. So the first being, well, usually the first is like some secret. So in Yelp's case, it's some token that's stored in a Python file. The other is some sort of session value. So in this case, I think it's based on, where's the cookies? How do I view cookies? Oops. So there's some cookie in here, which actually maybe I shouldn't show that because I think you can. Oh well, you can grab my logged out session. I don't care about my logged out session. If I remember right, Yelp's session cookie is this YUV, which is Yelp unique visitor, and they use that to act as a crypto input to this value. And then the last part is usually some unique identifier that identifies this form. In Yelp's case, we used the string for the action in most cases, although some of them are hard-coded to other strings. In fact, I think if we look at the JavaScript down here, yeah, so these are custom scopes where we chose a separate string and then set different values based on those. And so the idea is you generate a secret that you stick into your form, and then your server side can validate this secret because only the server could generate this token, and then it'll reject any other posts that don't contain this token. So that's the basics behind how you can CSRF protect something. A little bit of a tangent. We love Flask. Please don't hack Yelp.com. Yeah, I'm not planning to hack Yelp.com. And even if I did, they have a bug bounty program. I am ineligible for their bug bounty because I was a previous employee. What did you think was cool then when you were young but isn't cool now? I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that I think is cool, that I used to think was cool, that I still think is cool, that people don't think is cool. What did I think was cool but is not now? I guess I have one. I used to wear these stupid sunglasses that I thought I was the coolest person ever because sunglasses are awesome. But looking back on the photos, I don't even know if I can find photos of them, but finding photos of me with these sunglasses on were so derpy. I don't wear sunglasses anymore because I think they look silly. How come you are not talking about the new and improved test framework of Python? Yeah. So there's this brand new pytest framework. I guess I can show the Twitter tweets of this thing that I wrote. Where is it? Yeah. Here at pytest.org, we've decided that dropping the dot wasn't enough, so we're bringing it back bigger and better than ever, introducing py.test, the new replacement for pytest and py.test. So this is a dumb joke. I also had another one planned, but then I forgot to post it, so oh well. But pytest has been slowly deprecating the dot in pytest since version 3.0, and I decided to make a silly April Fool's joke about bringing back the dot, but better. There were mixed responses to it, but I don't know. I thought it was funny, and apparently some other people thought it was funny too. But yeah, it was an April Fool's joke. I It was really easy to set up too. So if we look at the code for it, py.test. It's basically 2 functional files, and then the rest is just like the readme and license for the lulz. The first is the setup.py, which is trivial. And then the other part of it was setup.cfg, which I basically just filled out with the basics that you would need to have metadata for a Python package. And then the trick to make py.test work. So this is actually an executable, an executable joke. If you install py.test, it actually installs, and it installs pytest behind the scenes, and then it makes an executable called py.test, which, when you run it, it actually runs pytest, and it works and prints its name in the output. But the way I did that was just to make an entry point script that pointed directly at pytest. So it's sneaky, but it works. And that was my crappy April Fool's joke. So that's why that is a thing. This is why Google should hire you. I don't know that I actually want to work at Google. I might want to work at Google when I'm ready to retire, I guess, or be less I don't know, involved in work, I guess. So the idea is that the post request is sent using your identifier cookies. Yeah, so yeah, the idea behind CSRF protection is you send the secret, which is your cookie, which is always going to get sent. It'll also get sent like from this form. This form would also send the cookie. But the idea is the web server that generated the original form has generated a secret that only that request could generate. And then after that, like it's no longer valid. So that's kind of the idea with that. Got it. Thanks for the wide explanation. Yeah, no problem. Hey, what's up, Sarcastic Dante? I'm gonna look up your translate your Japanese again every time. Even though I'm pretty sure this one is good morning. No, this is just hello. Perfect. Konnichiwa. Yes. When did I get the tallest hair? Do I have any pictures? Longest hair I had was probably in high school. Let's see if I can find a photo of that. I think the longest my hair was actually my senior prom, which is embarrassing. How do I do this? Photos. I'm going to sleep. Thanks for the nice talk. Hope to see the pytest improvement when I'll wake up. Yeah, hopefully it'll be done. We'll see. Let's see if I can find that photo. My hair was pretty long right when I graduated too. This is a good one. This was when I graduated college. There's me with pretty long hair. Not the longest though. Some of these photos are adorable. This photo is hilarious. Oh dang it! It ruined my scroll back. Why'd you do that? Ugh! I gotta scroll through all the photos again. But here's a photo from one of my offsites when I worked at Yelp. The theme of the offsite was to dress in 90s clothes, so that's why I look so ridiculous, or at least that's my excuse. With the nice jorts and the Blink-182 shirt. Oh, these are embarrassing. Great. Where's the photo I was thinking of? I'm gonna scroll back even further. This one's good. So this was one of those, like, put your face inside the thing and take a photo of it. And I was like, I'm just gonna be sneaky. I'm just gonna put my... Yeah, these are all Facebook photos, by the way. Yeah. I'm just gonna put my hair in the frame instead. Yeah, that one was pretty good. Oh, this photo. This was, I think, week 1 of No Shave November in, must have been 2011? My hair's pretty long here. But still not the one I was thinking of. God damn, where is this? Oh, here it is. I found it. I look so derpy. Oh, it's not. It's low res. No. Dang it. It's low res. Womp womp. This was the photo I was thinking of, where I'm looking like a complete derp. This is probably the longest my hair ever was. This is my friend Ryan. He's pretty cool. I was a programmer in that pic too. I mean, technically, yes, I was able to write. I was writing code back then. Here's the risky click that I opened in another tab. If Jesus returns, killhimagain.com. Great. I don't know if I'm going to answer that question. The answer is yes, but I'm not going to read out the question. Yeah. High school was an interesting time. But anyway, yeah, that was a fun photo. But yeah, long hair. Was this a lead-in from the other question? Do I think long hair is no longer cool? I wish I could grow my hair this length and have it still be cool. Although right now, whenever my hair grows long, it just ends up being this like poofy blob. I think like this is about as long as I'll let it go for now before I get it cut pretty soon. But yeah. How many girlfriends did I have at that time? I mean, I only ever had one girlfriend at a time. I was never a I'm a serial monogamist. You replace girls with GitHub contributions. Wow. Sad but true. Oof. Shots fired, man. I'll take it. It's probably somewhat accurate. Yeah, let's try and actually get back to what I was working on. I meant the number though. Yeah. Yeah, because I had thousands of girlfriends, or tens of thousands of girlfriends. Yeah. Well, I want to learn Git. I have some basic knowledge about Git, but didn't work on some project with Git. Do you know any good tutorial? I do not know any Git tutorials. I've been starting to teach my brother Git a little bit, and so far I've only taught him very few commands. Let's see, Daniel J. Sotilli, programming notes. We've learned a little bit of Git, but not too much. Oh, there's no heading I can link to either. But these are the commands that I've taught him from Git so far, which actually is quite a few of them. But he's gotten by with only these commands. I say only these commands, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I've taught him 18 commands so far that is mostly getting him by. But he's managed to, he can make commits and push them. As we can see from the 17 commits here. Although most of them right now are just like git add dot, git commit, git push. Oh yeah, the Atlassian guide is pretty good. Yeah, that's true. Atlassian Git tutorial. In fact, I've actually sent this to people before. Learn get. Yeah, this one's pretty good. I've definitely seen this one before, so go through that one. That one's good. If I had to bury treasure, where would I hide it? Is the goal to retrieve it eventually, or hide it where no one can find it? Can I confess I'm a Logan Paul fan? Oh, great. I mean, I don't know enough about the guy to make an opinion. Most of the stuff I've heard is that he's generally a kind of a DB. But I don't know. I don't watch his content, so I don't know anything about him. But yeah, if I had to bury treasure, and now you guys will know, so you can go find all of my treasure, I would probably bury it in some remote location in northern Michigan, because there is absolutely nothing there, and no one will ever find it. That makes me sound like a serial killer now, great. But yeah, there's, so my parents have a cottage. Well, I guess kind of my family has 2 cottages in northern Michigan, and they're on a lake. And it's pretty nice, but it's great to go up there and like not have internet, not have phone service, and like kind of be in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, that's where I would bury my treasure. But yeah, if only I had, I don't know, 10,000 girlfriends, that would be the jam. That'd be so much work though. What's the title of my quarter life biography? It'd probably be some like emo punk rock song lyrics. Let's be real. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm 27 right now, and so I guess my quarter life would be already over. Rip me. Assuming I grow to 100. What has taken up too much of your life? Sleeping? No, that's not true. Honestly, I probably spent too long working at Yelp. I probably should have moved jobs sooner. Like my only like regret of what I've spent too much time on. Yeah. Package resources. What job do you think you were born to do? I don't think anyone was really like born to do a job. I don't know. I'm really good at programming, I think, ish, maybe. So like, I guess my cop-out answer would be exactly what I'm doing today. Let's see if I can finally type get grep package resources for like the 3rd time. Importlib-metadata. Do you believe things happen for a reason? Then we're getting into like questions about religion and stuff, which is a slippery slope. Do I think things happen for a reason? I mean, if we want to be like super scientific and technical, then like yes, like physics exists and actions and reactions and forces and stuff cause things to happen. But then you can also take the physics argument of like, you know, the uncertainty of particles adds enough chaos into our lives that make things non-predictable. And then you can take like the religious aspect and be like, yes, there's some like shaping hand that causes things to happen in some order or like some reason. I don't know. I think my opinions go back and forth on these kinds of things every once in a while. Like, there's a part of me that would like to think that there's some shaping hand that's giving everything a purpose, but don't know. I don't have a great answer for that. The house is on fire, but everyone is safely out, the pets are safely out, and all the wallets and cash are saved. If you could make one last dash to get something, what would it be? It would be my computer. Every time. It would absolutely be my computer. I think I would bring my computer out before pets. Fortunately, I don't have any pets, so... yeah, it would definitely be some of my technology. It would either be my computer or my 3DS. Which I'm ready to carry it out at any time. It's ready. Do I have anything else that I would really value that much? Maybe some like t-shirts that have sentimental value. Ooh, but no, I think my house could burn down and I wouldn't care about most of it. I mean, I'd be like pretty disappointed that I lost all of the things in my house, and I'm sure insurance wouldn't cover as much as I would need it to, but I think it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Would I care about my phone? No, I don't really use my phone that much. What is that emoji? Sage Lee. Are you using cloud to keep your photos and files? No, I'm really bad about backups. That's actually like one thing that I should probably improve in my life, is like create an AWS account and use S3 to store backups. Because right now, yeah, if my house burns down, I lose all of my backups, which would suck. Fortunately, it's mostly, I guess it's just photos, so it's just like memories and stuff, which would be sad to lose. I don't know, maybe I should set something up like that. Please answer my last question. What was your last question? Oh, do I think things happen for a reason? Do I believe in invisible hands? I believe in it. Yeah, I would, I would put my like spiritual beliefs somewhere between like non-denominational Christianity and agnostic. Really, like, I don't know. I want there to be a higher power, but I have insufficient evidence to conclude that there is one, and there's a significant amount of evidence that shows that there probably isn't one. But I don't know. I haven't really decided one way or another. I know that's a controversial opinion, and you're free to disagree with me, and I'm sorry that I believe this way. The thing that bothers me about like religion and Christianity, though, is the amount of like hate that's fueled from it. Like, I think it's incredibly wrong to me that people are discriminated and like persecuted and such based on their beliefs, and like there's been so much death and murder and hate in history that's directly attributed to Christianity, which also makes me a little bit embarrassed to say that I might consider myself a Christian. Like, I don't know, I'm very saddened by the history of religion, because a lot of times it's pretty dark. Like, like anything about Catholicism is just like, oh boy, like crusades, and even the like modern day stuff where like the Pope is hiding the atrocities that are happening from priests and stuff, and like we'll just leave it at that. I don't really want to continue talking about this. Let's see. So we want to replace package resources here with importlib-metadata. Dist.version.split. So this would be importlib-metadata.version project. Oops. I don't want to break the code while I'm doing this. What is release? Oh, this should have been that. I think college is not useful. Do you think college is useful for a programmer? I just go for fun in 2019. That's a good question. I think, at least my college education, I think the best thing I got out of it was networking. Like, not computer networking, but like people networking. I think you can get you can be completely employable in a software engineering role and know good fundamentals and have good, like, be a good programmer without going to college or university. I do think that parts of my education are things that I would not have gotten outside of school, partially because they're either not as useful as other things, or I wouldn't have considered trying to learn about them. Things like, I don't know, like algorithmic efficiency. I think I would have, like, I had a general gut feeling about, like, oh, okay, well, if I loop over a list, like, the amount of work is proportional to the length of the list, and like, oh, if I have a mapping type, the lookup is fast. I think I had all of those gut feelings before I actually went into school. But like talking about, like, oh yeah, a sort is n log n and goes this time constraint, blah blah blah. Like, I think I wouldn't have gotten that as solid. I also wouldn't have done as much with like number theory and like discrete math and like logic tables and that sort of thing. Implication and like solving puzzles and like NP completeness and all that stuff. Like, I don't think I would have spent nearly as much time working on that if I wouldn't have gone to school. So I think like those parts were probably valuable. Then again, I don't think I might subconsciously use some of those things in my day-to-day job, but I think for the most part, they're not super important. Yeah, so like, and like, I think I could have taught myself all those things outside of school without a professor telling me to teaching me those things. But school gave like a rigid requirement system for building those, so like I wouldn't have necessarily done those things if school had not required me to. And I think some of that's valuable. At least for my CS portions. There were things that I learned in other classes that I would never have been able to learn outside of school. Like, I think a lot of the stuff I learned in math was super helpful. Now I don't use my calculus knowledge day to day ever. Like, I don't think I've written like one algorithmically or one like calculus related program in my entire no, that's not what I wanted. In my entire programming career, I think this is the only application I've ever used calculus for, and the only reason I used it for was this like slowing the slowing effect here on this carousel. That I wrote some like actual like acceleration stuff and used derivative and such to get the right values that I wanted here. But I think this is the only time I've used calculus since school. And technically I wrote this while I was in school, so I don't think I've used calculus after school at all. And granted, like, if I would have gone into biochemistry, which is my original goal, all of that education was like stuff that I could have only gotten in school. I don't think I could have learned. Like, yeah, I could have bought school textbooks and read them on my own, but like, I don't know, going to lectures was so much easier than reading textbooks. And then again, like, some of the lectures were pretty bad, but I don't know. I think school is as useful as you make it out to be. Like, if you want to get a lot out of school, you definitely can. If you don't want to get a lot out of school, then don't. Like, party hard and have a good time. Like, that's the best part of school. History is so annoying in college. Yeah, fortunately, let's see, did I take any history courses? I don't think I took any history courses. I think my history credits I transferred into taking econ courses, which were cool, but I don't think I would want to do economics. So I cheated my way out of history. Okay, so we need to replace the package resources APIs with non-package resources. So I happen to know that version conflict is not a thing. This becomes import error. So that part gets easy. Satan, hey, I bought your soul last month and no returns. Satan, please, it's making me sad. Too real. Let's see. So we don't need to defer this import anymore because the importlib-metadata import is fast. So get rid of this. So now we're down to just this iter entry points function. I've heard this song before. Maybe it's new, or maybe it's newer. I don't know. Python metadata. Oh, right. This function just returns all of the entry points. Remember how I did this last time? I think I just did. What's going on? Importlib metadata dot entry points. No, I don't think that works either. The group to load only loads the plugins with the given name. Just trying to figure out how the old function works. This takes no keyword arguments. Oh yeah. Okay, so name is just limiting it to the name of the entry point. What is this? Entry point name equals executable. What? Where does this string come from? Let's get distracted. Why does execute... I'm trying to make an executable egg file. I can create this using the following method. Interesting. Eggs with an executable header cannot be renamed or invoked via symlinks. They must be invoked using their original file name. Interesting. Okay, anyway, distracted. So it seems like what happens here is we load all the entry points every time, which is potentially slow, but we'll profile it, make sure it's not a problem. Eggs are annoying. Yeah, eggs are kind of broken by design. Fortunately, they're like pretty much deprecated and like people shouldn't use them anymore. Although there's a couple of cases where they get involved. One of them being setup requires in setup.py. And if you use easy install, you end up with eggs, but you should never use easy install. I guess I can just do this. Does this parameter not do anything anymore? Cool. Yeah, so this used to take a parameter that it would always ignore, and so it got fixed. What is this? Oh, I see. So each entry points has a group. Which makes this easy. Group. Hey, what's up, Zadak? Vagabond. That's a nice pun there. Hello, what do you recommend me to do if I want to learn Python complete noob here? So I have just the website for you. Learnpython.org is pretty good. My brother had some complaints about it, but it's pretty good for getting started and learning some like very, very, very basics. It also has some like really nice tools that you can use, where you can just like run Python directly in the browser. You can go back here and like edit the code and then run it directly, and it'll run it directly, which is pretty cool. It also gives you a prompt where you can just type code in here and run it directly in the browser, which I think is really great. It's a little skimpy on some of the like data structures and stuff, and I think it also spends a little bit too much time on some stuff that's not so useful. Like it starts by teaching % string formatting, which in my opinion is completely deprecated, but or like something I will never use. But they teach it anyway, so like some of this stuff is not super great. Like I would have just jumped to teaching f strings and dot format, but I don't know. They picked their battles and went with that way. But yeah, this is a good place to like self-start. I think the best way to learn a programming language is like try and find a problem that you want to solve, and then make it happen. Also, if you want the notes that my brother has been taking, because I've been forcing him to take notes as I teach him. So my brother's trying to learn programming right now. And so I've been doing basically like 2 to 3 hour sessions every day or so, and he's been keeping track of the notes that he takes as we go along. A lot of this starts with just like Unix basics and stuff that a terminal is, and like some of my pro tips and substitutions and stuff, and his markdown has some problems. We need to go back and fix some of that stuff up, but at the bottom we started going into Python things, so like We talked about like what a script file should look like and how that's kind of like int main in C++. Talked about strings. I went into a lot more detail than Learn Python does, including like what escape sequences are and that sort of stuff. Like doc strings, even though he doesn't care about doc strings, and I don't blame him. I don't care about doc strings either. Yeah, he's pretty good at taking notes. Yeah, he knows what to write down and like what stuff he's learning. That's good. He's also like been really good about, oh, I don't remember this problem, but I know I wrote it in my notes. I'm gonna go back in my notes and find the answer and go from there. So that's been pretty good. We spent a lot of time on strings. This was a long lesson. By the end, I'm like, all right, Daniel, we got one more function. We're almost there. Then you can go to bed. Because he's in Eastern time, so the 3-hour difference is kind of annoying. And usually I do this with him after work, and so like might be like 8 p.m. my time, but like 11 p.m. his time, and it's just like PyCharm doesn't auto unpack eggs for auto completion. Yeah, that sucks. That's pretty bad. I'm surprised you can work without it. Yeah, I don't have autocomplete at all. All right. There is Python tutor as well. Oh, I don't think I've tutor. Python tutor. Backspace. That's the key I wanted. Visualize code and get live help. Ooh. From volunteers. Interesting. I haven't heard of this one, so I can't necessarily recommend it, but it sounds good. As of 3.7, f strings are faster and better than %, so the only reason to use % is for compatibility. That was even true in Python 3.6. Like, formatted strings were already faster than % formatting. The main like argument to continue using % formatting is in logging, but it's even been shown that it's not faster in logging either. So the old way to, well, the original suggested way to do logging is to like not eagerly format your strings up front because it has some performance problems, and to do stuff like this and like wait for the logger to format it for you. But in the latest version of Python, it's been shown that like that doing this is just as fast or faster. So like just directly use f strings here, which doesn't surprise. The reason that this can be so fast is because import dis.disf. The formatting of this f string is done directly as an opcode, and in fact, if we look at the AST, xy.body 0. If we look at our x.value, I'm gonna just get to the join string. Yeah, so the f string is actually represented as a join string in the AST and directly does the loading of the values and formats them together. And this, the way this works at runtime is using this format value, but it's way faster because the runtime doesn't have to parse any strings. It already knows what it's about to format, so it can pre-build some string objects, and it can do all sorts of other good stuff to do that quickly. What is conversion? Oh, conversion. It's like, what is this version number? Oh, conversion. Got it. Right. Let's see. I'll bookmark this for when I want to learn Python in depth again. Only did the basics when I was taught a couple years ago. Why is missing the curly braces? Oh yeah, I wanted to intentionally show that. Yeah, it is missing the curly braces here. I wanted to show that like you can join string parts with variable names. Yeah, f strings are great. Use them everywhere. The only like problem is they only get supported in Python 3.6. You can of course hack around that, and I've made a terrible thing called future f strings, which allows you to use f strings in Python 2, or all the way back to Python 2. And well, the way it works, it's kind of a clever hack. It uses this encoding string here, which triggers a custom encoding that I wrote just for this. And what that encoding does is it finds f-string calls like this and transforms them into format calls like this. And these double parentheses are intentional, mostly because the expression in here could contain new lines in weird cases. But this is a fun hack, and it totally works. But yeah, f-strings technically new in Python 3.6, but can be backported. Hey, what's up, TBC_X? How's your day going? I'm on yet another tangent. Let's see. Oh, this should not have string quotes because that was probably typing and talking. Let's see if name is none, or so we just want to skip any entry points that don't have the name that's specified here. Alright, just finished up a Lisp stream. Oh, that's something that I know almost nothing about. My tiny amount of Lisp that I've written is Emacs Lisp for some plugin. Thank you, Vagabond, for following. Every follow counts. Really like your name. It's pretty funny. Let's see. What was the thing that I wrote Lisp for? Let's see. I can find the GitHub issue, and then I can find what it's called. Emacs. This one? Yeah, Maggit. Which is an Emacs Git plugin. I had to write a tiny amount of Emacs Lisp to fix like some weird bug. But that's the only Lisp I've written. I don't really deal with functional programming all that often. But yeah, Lisp is cool. I wish I knew it better. I don't know that I know any practical reasons for using it, at least in my day-to-day though. What exactly are you currently working towards? Extinguished, sorry. I don't wanna... That was maybe not the nicest way that I could have worded that. I just don't personally have any use for Lisp. What am I currently working towards? So we're trying to improve, let's see... We're trying to improve the startup time of pytest to be something that's less slow. So the time of just Python trivially starting up is like 20 milliseconds. But currently the time of running pytest is almost half a second before your code can actually run, and I want to improve this. And we did some profiling earlier in the stream to show what the general problem is. Do we have that somewhere? No, but we can do it again. Xclib, selections, see. I did some profiling earlier in the stream to show what the bottleneck in importing or like running a basic pytest invocation is. And it's this big block right here in package resources. And so now I'm working on factoring out package resources from pytest and its dependencies. Half a second, yeah, it's pretty slow. Yeah. But I hope to make that better. I'm making a virtual machine and it's going super slow because I've done zero prior research. Interesting. So you're writing like your own operating system and then like booting that with like VirtualBox or something. FH Mitch says, I literally just wrote my first Python program that doesn't say hello world. Nice. Gotta start somewhere. What was my first Python program? My first Python program was probably like, oh, I know what my first Python program was. It was, we used to have this auto grader for a class that I taught. I still have the code somewhere, but I don't think it runs anymore. No, it was 183 grader? Is that the repo? Yeah, so it had this like web view where you would submit. Actually, I bet I can still load it. Unix.umich.edu/. Is this where it was? Clearly not. I don't know, but there was an autograder. Oh, I can show you like an email that it generated. Autograder 183. Sent mail. What? This is new music. I haven't heard this song before. In the playlist of the background music that I usually play. Huh. I can't find any... Oh, here we go. Here's an output. Not a very good one, though. How do I take a screenshot without showing you all of this information? Because I don't want to give away the student's email address, or... I guess I can't show you guys. But anyway, it generated these like pretty nice looking HTML emails that I spent a bunch of time on. But well, I could maybe show that. That doesn't give away my email address. Oh, it does give away mine, but you can already figure out my email address. Okay, I think this is safe to show. So this is kind of what... This is a failure email. This is kind of what the output would look like when you would get an email back from the autograder, and it would give you like a score down here. Usually there'd be a list of tests and like green and red for whether they passed or not, but that's kind of what the output would look like. I spent a lot of time making this look quote-unquote nice. Hashtag web development. Let's see. Just imagine what could be done in half a second. Yeah, half a second is like eons in programming times. It's for a paper on machine language semantics. Interesting. Oh, you're writing a decision tree that guesses male or female based on height. Oof. Spicy. Supposed to read in definitions and execute ARM, x86, etc. But for now, I'm making sure it can run itself. Well, that's pretty complicated. Like, self-hosting is not an easy task. If you have a to-do list at work, and when the work is check some of the things you thought you understood were wrong because of ambiguous description, whose fault is it? Ooh, the programmer or the person making the list? So that one, like, it kind of depends. Like, some of the fault is definitely on both parties. I think, like, when a specification is wrong and someone misimplements it, like, a lot of, like, more of the fault should probably land on the specification and not on the implementer. But there is, like, some blame that goes both ways, for sure. Oh, I found a better autograder output. Let me show you this one. This is what it looks like when it's successful. So you get like, oh, there's like partial points here. It's crazy. This is why floating point sucks. Apparently the score for this project was 2.9999996. But anyway, this is what the grader looked like when it actually ran. Who's my favorite programming? Oh, I forgot to turn on looping for my music. Loop is on. We will start over from the beginning. Okay. Who is my favorite programming streamer on Twitch? Probably my favorite streamer is user335, who was actually suggested by someone in chat. They work on a first-person RTS game, or not RTS. Yeah, RTS, real-time strategy, not real-time shooter. That's not a thing. They're pretty funny. I like their stream. Another streamer that I like, is anyone online? Oh, what is their name? Dang it. How do I view this? I don't think I'm logged. Oh, maybe I'm logged in here. And the sidebar. Show me the. Dang it, I can't remember their name right now. I don't know, there's a couple streamers that I watch. I mostly don't remember names and just let the recommendations show up in my inbox and then click on their streams, and that's how I end up watching them. But yeah, there's a couple of programming streams that I watch. I didn't actually watch programming streams before I started streaming myself. But now that I stream pretty regularly, like I will raid people and watch their stream. It's pretty nice. It's gray. I couldn't do it better. It's your fault if you accepted it. You should reject it if before the spec is clear. Yeah, that's probably fair. You taught at U of M. Yes, I was what's called an instructional aide, which is basically like an undergraduate student instructor, and I did that from I think fall of 11 until winter 13. Thank you, Aaron Raff, for following. Every follow counts. Basically, I took the class, and the professor was like, you know, you probably know this stuff too well. Do you want to teach this next semester? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And it was actually a pretty good deal. It was like $21.50 an hour to teach, and ended up teaching like we were required to do office hours each week and attend lectures and teach our own discussion section, which is basically like a small classroom. And I would end up working like 10 to 15 hours a week, and like it was pretty good money for someone in school to like have some pocket change and like not have to pay off so much debt. Let's see. By the way, I thought I got MS Fonts to work, but it failed 2 days later. Oh yeah, that was last week. Thank you, TBC_X for following. Every follow counts. First person RTS. Yeah, the game that user335 is working on is pretty cool. It's basically like coercing demons to like take over a keep, and there's all sorts of like mechanics that I don't understand the whole workings of it, but it's pretty fun to watch and definitely amusing. Have I seen George Hotz's streams? No, I have not. I'll have to check him out. Saiyan Lordium says hello. How goes the Python? It's going pretty well. I think I've written. Let's see. I think I've written like 2 lines of code so far. Yeah, I've written these 4 lines of code. I've been chatting for 2 hours and not really working so much, but I don't know. I'll get it done eventually. Yeah, I'm working with Bootstrap. That face when you're too lazy to write custom CSS. Yeah, I know that feel. I did my dad's website with Bootstrap, and most of this is just Bootstrap, and I added a little bit to it later. I think, let's see, main.css. No, I probably put it in a folder like a sensible person. Yeah. These are my custom, this is my custom CSS, all of this, that's it. Most of it was just to like these buttons are most of the custom CSS that I wrote. Also to do these like underline bars, I did those manually to go with the theme of the book titles. And look, it's responsive. Woo! It's like my favorite GIF of all time is go.lyft.com/responsive. Oh, I gotta log in. Dang it. Maybe I'm logged in on my other computer. Yeah, I'm logged in over here. So this is my favorite web developer responsive GIF. Ooh, I can change the size of my window! Yeah. What it demonstrates is like on a mobile device, you'll see this instead. Anyway. Have you seen Project X movie? No, I have not. What is it about? Let's see. I have not seen this movie. No. I have like 50 lines of custom, but I'm gonna need to redo it. I'm a jQuery programmer. I want to write jQuery for the rest of my life and be rich. I mean, I was a jQuery programmer for a long time. Now it's now it's a joke, right? This is technically jQuery, if I remember right. Let's see. Yeah. Document.ready. There we go. Some solid jQueries going on there. A little bit over commented, but works. Look at that jQuery. Such jQuery. I use Tacit. It's classless CSS. I don't know that I've heard of Tacit before. CSS framework for dummies without classes. How does it work? Use cases of Tacit. Okay. What's the catch? Where's the details? Look attractive but have almost zero skills in graphic design, just like myself. But wait, didn't you write the framework? Oh, so you just add a CSS? You do not use any CSS classes in your HTML. Just use... Interesting. That's cool, I guess. I guess it's nice because you don't have to memorize the like bajillion classes that are necessary to make things work. Like I think some of this Bootstrap stuff is pretty nuts, like button dark. I don't even remember what these mean. But some of these classes are kind of crazy. Like I don't know what my4 is, or row align. Well, this one's at least obvious. But call 12, call sm5, call large 4. I think that's responsive stuff, but I don't know. It's been so long since I worked on this. To do. Whoops. Guess I didn't add a meta tag. My bad. But yeah, I used to write lots of jQuery. That was what I was kind of hired for at Yelp, was to write jQuery. Got another image here. I'm gonna trust you and just open it directly. Oh, there's the responsive dropdown in the in the Chrome Dev Tools. This is the better way to do it. In fact, where is it? Tools. No. Oh, here we go. This phone thing. Look, now it's on a phone. Woo! Oh, that looks bad. That's not supposed to happen. Dang it. Oh, I should probably fix that. Oh. Darn. Oh well. Maybe for another day. That feels like it lacks flexibility. Yeah, it's an improvement over raw HTML. That's true, yeah. The default styles are kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely need margin on these. At least margin when it's responsive. So right now they do have margin, but not top and bottom. So like, did I have a class for these? Probably not. But I could probably add like margin top. Like I could probably add margin top without making all these look terrible. Or without making the top shelf look bad. This is now a web development stream. And like now if I shrink it down, wait, I gotta do the device. And now it looks not as bad. It's still not great, but no, I could also make this only when with a media query, so it only gets applied when it's shrunk down like this. Whatever. This is like kind of a weekend project that I never really finished, and it's finished enough. There's it gets done what my dad wanted it to do, which is like show the books, show this quote, have a little description, and a buy button. Open it on Amazon. As well as link to Goodreads and his Facebook page. Which is a good thing. Go away, Facebook. I do not want to join you again. Yay, I love webdev. Have you ever gone to work without sleep? Oh wait, I gotta read back even more. Margin errors, yeah, definitely. Can I stay awake for 24 hours without sleep? Yes, I've done that 2 or 3 times. My first all-nighter was when I worked at Yelp. There was a hackathon where it was my first hackathon ever, and this was before I realized that hackathons are kind of not as fun as they're cracked out to be. But I stayed up all night, and I don't know, it was kind of fun. There were like 4 people that also stayed up all night. Also, a bunch of the interns just like passed out on the couches upstairs, which was great. That was a fun intern class. But yeah, I've stayed up 24 hours without sleep. I think I did it once in school for an essay. But yeah, I try and not make it a pattern. It seems to me that a lot of stories start with when I worked at Yelp. Yeah, I mean, like 5 years of my life were when I worked at Yelp. I have too many stories too. But yeah, a lot of stories are in that way. Have you ever gone to work without sleep? Yes. Some of those times have been intentionally without sleeping, like staying up to work on something. A bit like not work, but like personal stuff. A couple of times have been like I literally could not sleep, and so went to work and had no sleep. Because occasionally I have like insomnia and whatever happens. Do I only program in Python? No, I write a bunch of different programming languages. Most recently, I've spent most of my time in Python. But I also know like C, C++. I've written a little bit of Go. I used to write a ton of JavaScript. I used to write a bunch of Java. I've written some Kotlin. If you want to count SQL as a language, then I've written a bunch of flavors of SQL. My first programming was in Visual Basic, which, the VB6, before it was .NET, before it had all nice things. I used to write a lot of C#. I really like C#. I miss it a lot. What else? That's probably about it for things that I would actually say that I know. Longest time I've stayed up is like 22 hours. That's fair. Yeah, 5 out of 27 of my years. Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any tips that helped you get the job at Yelp after school? For me, it was that I worked on a lot of personal projects and I had stuff that I could show. At the time, it was just like web things that I had worked on. Granted, they weren't great. Like this was one of the projects that I showed, which was like a website that does a bunch of like server-side rendering and stuff. I also talked a lot about my previous experience and I mean, it helped that I had done an internship before that, so that made it easier to get in the door. I don't know, I knew the interviewer's questions. That part helped. The interviewer asked me some stuff about like how you would structure a JavaScript program and how would you like build shareable components and stuff, and like I had opinions on that, and so I was able to answer that. Interviews in a lot of ways are things that you can train for, as sad as it sounds. Like interviewing in tech is kind of a sham, and like it's not always a good representation of how someone is going to be how someone is going to perform in the industry. Like the joke is like there's like this Twitter meme that's like, during the interview, how do you invert a binary tree? And then, real job, can you implement this login flow again, or twiddle this pixel for me again, or stuff like that. I'm probably misquoting the meme, but it's pretty accurate. Like interviews often ask you to do stuff that's completely outside of the bounds of what you would do during a day-to-day work, and I don't know, get good. Python is the best. You don't need to justify using it exclusively. I think Python's okay. I wish it had better like pre-runtime guarantees. Like MyPy is pretty good for doing type checking and stuff, and like Flake8 is pretty good for like finding basic problems. But I wish, like, I really miss having a compiler that I can lean on for a lot of stuff, and like requiring a bunch of work in tests to validate stuff is kind of annoying. I remember playing something online for like 17 hours. Yeah, I think I've done similar things to that. Like I've stayed up to purchase video games at midnight and then just played them the whole next day without sleeping. Most of that was Pokemon, but yeah, definitely lost a lot of sleep to video games. VBScript FTW. VBScript's alright, I guess. I hate the Microsoft coding conventions. Pascal case for functions and classes is unacceptable. Yeah, I do find that it's kind of... It is hard to see at a glance which thing is a callable and which things are classes. I can agree with that. I've done multiple 24 plus hours a week. Yeah, same. I applied for C++ development and was asked JavaScript related questions. It sounds like you applied at the wrong place, my dude. Oh yeah, whiteboard programming is the worst. I dislike whiteboard programming. That said, I think whiteboarding is okay for like design questions, but writing code on a whiteboard is, in my mind, is completely unacceptable. At Lyft, for the coding portions, we let people work on their laptops, and like we give them a spec and they can write the code on their laptop using their own tools, their own IDE, the internet if they want. And so like I think that's a lot more fair than having people write code on the whiteboard. You get money for the summitfashions.com ad. No, I do not. That was... So my friend technically owns the domain, even though I wrote most of the code. And this is his parents' their business. I should really chat with him. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's a good friend. I miss him. He still exists, so I should talk to him. Thanks for the advice. I'm trying to publish some more personal projects. Cool. JavaScript syntax is similar to C++. I mean, in some ways, yeah. But the programming paradigms are pretty different. Like dynamic event loop versus imperative programming. Just copy paste the spec to Stack Overflow. He's not dead. No, I realized after I said that it was like it sounded like he might have died, but he definitely did not. He'll stay in our hearts, yeah. Can you give me an example of an interview spec that you might give? Sure. So, I do two different types of interviews. Well, I guess I do a couple different types of interviews. The two primary types of interviews that I do right now, one of them is the laptop interview, where we give them a question to work on and an hour and a half to do it. And the other type of interviews I give is like a design and architecture problem, where I give them like a open-ended design problem and tell them to build it. As for like an example laptop question, I can't give away the actual questions because I'm not supposed to do that. But like many of the what can I talk about? What's something that would be close to one? Like a lot of the laptop questions are basically like parse some strings and then perform some action based on them. What could I? So like I guess I can talk about an interview that was given to me at a different company that looked kind of like some of the laptop questions that we give today. It was basically like write your own programming language kind of deal, which I probably have an example of something like that. Was that 381? No, 370. That was the class. So like this was an example of a project that I had to do in school where I had to implement a programming language that had these opcodes, so like add, NAND, load word, store word, branch if equal, jump and set return register. I don't remember what JOLR stands for, and halt and no op. And so I had an interview which basically like gave a spec like this and then said write an interpreter for this, and as a bonus write a program that does something. And so this is like kind of like something you might see. Yeah, it's not related to like the work that you would do on your day-to-day, but it gets you thinking in a technical manner and like has you build something from end to end and like does some string parsing, which is not necessarily interesting, but kind of alright. So that's kind of similar to questions, or like the difficulty of questions that might get asked, at least at Lyft. As for whiteboard, it's kind of like design some sort of system. So like one that doesn't get asked at Lyft, but I've been asked in the past, is like design a hotel booking system. And like some of the things that you have to think about there are like the trade-offs between consistency and availability, and like how do you have a person be able to select a room and not have it get stolen from you? How do you design the interfaces for that? How do you make the website robust and scale to thousands of hotels and like many like web users at the same time? Like how do you make that secure? How do you, I mean, all of these various problems, and like tries to get you to talk about like what your strong suits are. And so like someone might focus on like what their data structures look like, or what their database design looks like, or how their web interface looks, or like what their server scaling is, or like how they split their services into microservices, or how they do routing, or like any of these things can come up during these interviews, and it's basically how they get structured. And the hope from the interviewer's perspective is that someone draws like a blob diagram on the board and works through that. I really like all of these emotes. It looks like they're all from one person's stream. Person must be a good streamer. And a GitHub link to Mobfuscator, which is Mobfuscator. Oh, compiles programs into move instructions and only move instructions. Oh no. This is so sad, but also hilarious. Nice. Okay, but yes, I do actually want to still try and implement this. I think this is all that's needed. ep.load. Okay, that seems to work. ep dot, what is this thing? importlib waterfall foo. Expected 3 arguments, got 2. What is going on here? This is the third field. Anyway. What do you mean that module doesn't exist? Oh. Import time waterfall. So it looks like we can also get attribute error as an error here, so we should skip both of those. ep.dist. Well, hopefully that's not actually needed, because we'll just do this instead, because we don't actually have access to the distribution, I don't think. Yeah, we don't. Well, I'm python-c 0 minutes 4 seconds. Why is your Python taking 4 seconds to... Mine doesn't take that long. It's like tens of millis. Oh, Windows subsystem for Linux. Oh, I see. Makes sense-ish, I guess. This is another reason why I use virtual machines instead of WSL. No, Cartana, you're not allowed to do things. What was I opening? Git bash. So like even Python on Windows is slower. Well, it's faster after a few times. But 100 milliseconds versus 10 milliseconds is a pretty big difference. The second run is 290 milliseconds. Okay, that's a little bit better. So now that I've swapped out the code, let's see how the tests fail. Ideally, the tests should still pass if I did things correctly, but oh, yes, that's right. So the group could be non-existent. I think it's doing some mem mapping magic. Yes, probably. It's probably doing some like hard disk caching so that it's faster. I know this is a weird question, but is there any place where I can get a certificate for free to pass a Python class or for cheap? What do you mean, like a certificate, like a certification? Just dump your personal projects on GitHub. Yeah, I mean that's what I do. Although a lot of my personal projects are also stuff that other people would use. The thing? Yeah. I mean, I just dump all of my stuff on GitHub, even if it's like stuff that no one would use. Like this is the configuration that I use to set up my machines, and it's like 100 commits, lots of Puppet, lots of Ruby. I'm trying to get certificates from freecodecamp.org regarding responsive web and more from them. If you completed it all, you can get a full stack dev certificate. I don't know. I think certificates are not always that useful, and when we hire, I don't think we look at them at all. Like you're better to be able to demonstrate that you can build stuff than that. Mail did not raise import error. Wait. Oh, that's because this is like super fragile monkey patching here. Package resources. So we actually want importlib-metadata at the top. What? Oh, PM is a fixture? Example. So we need to return a mapping from example to a tuple of entry points to properly represent what it looks like behind the scenes. Group equals hello. Oh, I guess this should have been hello here. Make a test pass? We'll find out. I'm thinking about doing free code camp when I have more time. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I build stuff, I see. I'm super rusty in web development. What's your software supposed to do? What is this software supposed to do? Pluggy or pytest? Pytest is a test framework, which is what's powering this output here. And pluggy is how pytest does plugin discovery and stuff. Like you can add features to pytest by implementing a plugin. I don't think I've implemented any plugins myself, but that would be how I would do it, is add a pytest plugin. Did I fix any tests with that? Yeah, I had 3 failed and now I still have 3 failed? Guess not. Oh, did I write out the test changes? I think so. Test load, set of tools, instantiation. Yeah, this is the one that I wanted. Num, assert num equals 0. Why was that supposed to be 0? Load, set of tools, entry points. Count. Why is it supposed to be 0? I don't understand. Is the test just wrong? I don't know. All that I changed was I made this function return the mapping, which would have been this iterable, which is what we had here. I don't know why this number is different. Let's see what I did last time for this test. The olds? What? This is my old test, which looks almost exactly the same. Oh, the number is supposed to be 1, but it is 0? Is that what's going on? Yeah, so this is returning 0. Okay, let's debug it then. I thought it was the other way around. Testing, test plugin manager. zdesigns.dk is my website. I will open your website. Ooh. This looks nice. This looks good. This is a dangerous thing to write. Whoa, why isn't it selectable? Annoying. Make it selectable. Barely got an element over top of it? Or is my browser just messed up? Yeah, I'd be careful with writing like your age and what you're currently doing, because you'll end up in the same bucket that I did, which I wrote this website in 2012, and at the time of writing this, like this has not been true in almost 10 years. Almost 10 years? Yeah, no, 10 years. It has been true in 10 years, so GG me, I guess. Wait, has it really been 10 years? No, it's been 6 years. Okay. But like, this is a really old photo of me. So angsty. Let's see, open image, a new tab. Yeah, there's me when I had way more hair. One of my favorites is Minecraft. That's still true. I still like to play Minecraft. Although I think I play more like Borderlands now. But This was right after my girlfriend broke up with me in 2010. Yeah. Yep. 2010. This is one of my favorite t-shirts too. But anyway, old photo of me. I really need to update this. Maybe I'll do that as a stream in a couple weeks. But I mean, your website looks nice. And it's translated. Girlfriend broke up, creeper shirt checks out. Wow. I mean, it might have been related. I don't actually know. Breakpointy. That's not what I wanted. So let's figure out why this is returning 0 instead of 1. Group is hello, and name is none. Cool. Oh. This is backwards, that's why. The name is not none, and there we go. So we want to skip this if name is populated and the entry point's name is not matching. It's hard to find the right kind of girlfriend. Yeah. And even when you find the one that you think is right, it might not work out anyway. Any good FTP client for Linux? Really a fan of Total Commander Win SCP, but they are Windows only. I don't like FileZilla. I don't know. I don't think I've used FTP in a really, really long time. And at least not often enough that I need to have a client that I like. I use FileZilla on Windows for my FTP related stuff. But, I don't know. I don't have any suggestions there, sorry. Group is hello, and name is none. Why it returns 0 and not 1? Yeah. Are you saying because it rhymes? But yeah, it should have gotten fixed now. List dist info. Yeah, I don't remember what I did for that last time. Maybe there's a dist attribute and I just forgot. I don't think there is one though. Yeah, there's no dist. X dot. Group. X dot load, which is the function. X dot name. X dot pattern. Value. Yeah, there's no dist. So I guess I never fixed this last time and I just ignored it. Does this ever get used is the other question. So it gets used in a test. Does pytest care about it? It does. It's annoying. Yeah, there's no way this code worked before, so I don't know how I possibly did this. Where is the tab? Oh, I could use distributions to find all of them. You can always do get stash. Yeah, I don't need to get stash. I just need to fix this. Surely one of these has entry points, right? There we go. That one has a bunch of entry points. It's one with the fewer entry points. Okay. We could do it that way instead. Gotta be honest, I don't understand 98% of what you're writing. Yeah, sorry. Never knew about getgrep, seems handy. Yeah, I use getgrep all the time, it's so useful. So what I'm doing right now is I'm iterating through installation metadata. So when you install a package, Python site packages. So when you install a package, it writes either a dist info or an egg info. It looks like I don't have any egg infos right now. But inside there, let's see, pytest. Inside there, there's this metadata file which contains a bunch of information about the package that gets installed. That's not the one that I want. Is it entry points? Yeah, this is the one that I actually care about. So it installs this like little metadata file which tells some like information about the thing that got installed. And in order to, and this metadata gets used as a plugin system, so at runtime you can read this data and then import this module, like this represents a module and then a function in that module. So you can import this module and then grab the attribute and call it. And so I'm basically using that to, or I'm adjusting the way the plugin system works to use this metadata using a faster library. But I like your voice in your Yelp story as well. Cool. Come for the code, stay for the Yelp stories, I guess. But I need to, in order to make this work, I need to actually iterate based on distributions, because it looks like that information is actually useful. Or I could look up the distribution after. No, because I don't think the entry point knows about the distribution at that point. Let me read the code. So we're using this function now, which just lists entry points. And I want to use this one, because I think it will do what I want. That comes from the API module. Yeah, so an entry point has a name, it has a value, and it has a group. But that does not tell us where it came from, which is where we get this dist here. Well, it was supposed to be dist, but but we broke that. Yeah, so the way entry points works is it loops over distributions and then grabs the values out of that. We can do the same as that thing does. See if the group is not equal to group, or name is not none, and so we'll skip. Sorry if you guys can hear the leaf blower outside. Hey, what do you think about combining game/streaming and cryptocurrencies to award in-game drops? I.e., a streamer gets a QR code the chat can contribute to unlock instant in-game content. Is it doable? Yeah, that's doable. I don't know if you want to ask my opinions about cryptocurrency because I think it's a bad idea, but well, I think cryptocurrencies are a bad idea, but I think you can even do it with normal currency. But yeah, something like that is definitely possible and doable. I don't think I've seen anything like it yet, though. I don't know that anyone's done that, but it's an interesting idea. So I think this implements basically the same thing as before, but now we're using distributions instead. Yeah, I've noticed most devs aren't fond of crypto. But I think it's required because viewers could contribute cents rather than much higher minimum using fiat. I see. Yeah, I mean you could even incorporate it with like Twitch and use bits. It's like their pennies essentially, right? But yeah, like any type of conversion to a monetary value, it doesn't have to be cryptocurrency. Like you could use any virtual currency would work fine, even if it's like 1,000 Zorgs is 1 penny or something like that, or like Stanley nickels or Shroot bucks. This message is for unopened file that don't care about that then. Russian ruble. Yeah. Grade Flake 8, so it doesn't complain at me like that again. Yeah, no problem, Matt. I mean, I don't know that my input is super valuable, but if you're gonna thank me for it, I'll take the thanks. Talk stashy. There we go. I meant to type Control R and I was typing Control T, so that was not working. Okay, so we still have 3 failures, we still have num is 0, so now we'll go back to debugging that. If the group is not equal or the name is not equal, we continue. A wise man once told me no one owes you anything, so even the smallest effort is worth a thanks. Have a good day. Thanks. That's true. No one knows anyone shit. But I'm happy to chat. Oh, I see, because we're mocking a different function now. We're mocking distributions now. Now we want Wait, was the group hello? Yeah, so this is the group, so the group needs to be here, and the value needs to be my name, foo. Still 3 failures. Ooh, what is going on here? Oh, dist is none. Yeah, we actually have a distribution now. Hey, we got a test passing. Loaded version conflict. This test is no longer relevant. This test is also no longer relevant because we always have importlib-metadata. So now I think the test passed, which I think also means that pytest is working properly. How would I test, or how would I demonstrate that? I guess I could enter this virtual that I was in before and install my feature branch of pluggy. Is system design and object-oriented design used synonymously when asked to design a hotel booking application? Not really. The system design is more like what sort of server components and like how you organize your higher level concepts. There is some software design that goes into it a little bit, but usually I try and caution people to stay away from the software parts of design during the design and architecture interviews. Well, it's faster now. It's not taking half a second anymore. But I don't know whether that's because I've completely factored it out or not. Like, I think if I do pytest version... plugins. That'll of course make it slower because I just installed a plugin. Oh, the leaf blower guy outside is blowing directly into my air intake vent, so my room now smells like gasoline, which is great. Damn you! But I don't know, it's fine. I don't pay for the lawn care service, so it's just kind of annoying. Hopefully you guys can't hear that, but whatever. Oh, I wanted to... Was I measuring the wrong thing? Oh, I was measuring the wrong thing. Which virtual env? Yeah, I had the wrong virtual env activated. Okay, so I haven't actually implemented... I haven't actually improved it yet. It's still slow. Doesn't help that I name all my virtual envs to VM, so that's why I was confused. So it makes sense that it's not finished yet, because pytest uses package resources as well. But now I should be able to visualize what's causing that, maybe? Maybe not, though. But I know there's no package resources here anymore. Oh wait, I didn't even install it either. Okay, let's try this. Then maybe we've improved it. Seems no. Seems the answer is no. But that's fine. We haven't fixed pytest yet. Try to fix execnet gateway base in line 27 perform spawn issue. Which one is this one? Execnet is some of the crazy code. This issue? It's just clear that Python itself gets segfaulted. Oof. Which issue do you mean, Sarcastic Dante? There's a bunch that seem to go through that frame. Oh, this one, the one I'm on right now. Yeah. When I test timeouts, it may fail to print the captured output if the output contains non-ASCII characters. Makes sense. This should be easy to fix. Oh, but it's xdist's fault. Windows. Yeah, except that I'm not getting the main thread stack, only the stack of unknown. Oh, that's even worse. Have I done any machine learning with Python? I did like the Hello World NLTK example at one point. I don't know if I would call that machine learning. But the answer is no. I haven't really done much machine learning at all. Unless you count Hello World natural language processing kind of stuff, but I wouldn't count that. I know very little to nothing about machine learning, so yeah, not me. Do I really not have this branch anymore? Oh yeah, I do. How involved was the last time I tried to do this? Lots of red. Some version parsing. Oh, wasn't so bad last time. Alright, let's try and fix pytest as well. Oh, we want to limit it to Python files. So this is the function that I just deleted last time. Ensure package resources can be loaded from this loader. I don't know what that means. Mark plugins for rewrite. Oh. This part was complicated last time, if I remember right. So here we basically have to find all of the pytest entry points, then find all of their Python files. Metadata files. Oh, I think there's a simpler way to do this now. Importlib-metadata distributions. Got files? Is that what I want? Sounds right. That's not right. We're getting there with the bootstrap. Not sure what you mean. Later rewritable files. Oh, you're working on a website. Cool. I think this is how I implement this loop. Oh, I don't have any pytest plugins installed there. That makes sense. Pip install pytest cov. Okay. That looks right. Cool. Seems good. Working on a website and making it look like a stereotypical website on the internet. I mean, Bootstrap will help you with that. I'm working on updating my password generator with the ability to use actual words for ease of being able to remember them. But think a 6.5 megabyte file of words might be too big. Any suggestions? Best if it could be in JSON. Well, if you gzip, it's probably less. On Linux, you can usually get away by just looking at user share dictionary. du, which is 1 meg. gzip, what is it, -o. I don't remember how to use gzip. Compress or uncompress file by default. Write on standard out gzip-c english.gz. So 256K, which is not bad. Best if it could be in JSON. Oh, I see. I don't know, the user shared dictionary one is not so bad. It's a pretty good list of words. It also contains a lot of people's names though, so you can probably filter out anything capital. Under 2,000 words. Let's see, grep-v capitals. And let's get rid of apostrophes too. Oops. It's not bad. Head for XRs. Wait. Here's a great password. Mischievously obeisance outlying speedometer. Badgers bouncing dictators interni. Forthwith unresolved routes klutz. Seated receptively smudging sock. These all seem decent. Overpaid populist shuttled petting. Sorry if I just implemented your program in a bash one-liner. Works pretty well. Oh, there's no code formatting in RC. But anyway. There's a dictionary that's not too large that you could probably play with. What was I doing? Making sure I got this working, right? I think so, maybe? Find out. Package resources. Sys path prepend. Prepend path to the sys path. HTTPS. What is this comment about? Applications that manipulate namespace packages or directly after sys.path at runtime may need to use this API function. What? We're just gonna remove this and see what happens. Hopefully there's a test that fails. But I don't know. Time to get some sleep. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. What is the module called? Packaging dot. Packaging dot version. Did I just like typo it? Oh, I wrote verison. Seems right. Gotta go get my drunk parents. Be back in 10 to 15 minutes. That sounds fun. 1 in the morning in Denmark. Wow. Thanks for tuning in the middle of the night. It's standard for me. Great. I don't know that I can stay up that late anymore. Just early load setup tools name. Why else would they let me get my driver's license? Yeah, my parents did the same thing. They were like, I'm tired of dragging your ass around everywhere. You're getting a driver's license, and also you can pick us up when we're drunk. It's like, cool. Thanks, parents. Originally, they were gonna make me wait until I was like 19 to get it. Then they realized that, oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Yep, have a good one. What is this test doing? Test early load setup tools name. Kind of annoying that I have to re-implement this function again. There's a funny picture describing websites and Bootstrap. I'll click on anything at this point. Hey look, it's every Bootstrap website ever! This button makes the page scroll. Want to make an original website yourself? Google that shit. In my family, we have a hand notification or a hand motion for Google that shit, which is this. So sometimes my mom, like my mom's the one that does it most often, but we'll be talking to some third party that doesn't know the inside joke, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm wondering about this thing," and my mom will turn to me and she'll go. It's just the funniest thing. Seriously, it's this fucking template. That's amazing. That's so true though. this how this works? I think. Project name's not a thing. The load is a thing. I guess I could make an adders class, even though I don't like adders. Is collections imported? No, fine. Make an adders class. Okay, I think this works now. Hopefully. We'll find out later. Resources. What is this? This installed plugin rewrite. Oh, this is just an annoying monkey patch, isn't it? I can't lint this code because it's inside of a string literal. Ugh. That gets way simpler. This is not a thing. Get reordered. Be a tuple just so we don't modify it. Dummy entry points. We don't care about plugin state anymore. Get rid of this. Hopefully that's right. We'll run the test later and hopefully verify it. Best resources provider for loader. Attempts to load resources from a package should succeed normally even when... This test is probably going to fail. Just leave that one alone. This looks like that same test that we just looked at, but slightly different, I guess. Let's pre-parse ordering with setup tools. Kind of annoying that I have to keep re-implementing this over and over. Undefined name entry point. Oh, there's a capital P. You can just do .value here instead of .module name. Ooh, camel case. This is some old code. Assert entry point exists. Well, we did that below. This test is gonna fail. Hey, what's up, Tau W23? It's going. I'm working through some test code here. This man coding on a VirtualBox, lol. Yeah, it me. I'm also running Windows, so give me your lols. Yes, I'm coding in a VM. There's oh, do I have the explanation on hand? Next you're gonna be like, oh, he's using Nano also. Look, what a noob. It's true. It's true. Let me find you a link that I have. I really need to make an FAQ section and put it in there. But I haven't done that yet. But yeah, if you look at this this position in this video, it kind of explains why I use a VM, but it's mostly because I like play games and stuff, and I'm more familiar with Windows. The editor, I have no excuse though. This test is probably gonna fail, but we'll just leave it for now. Oops, that should have been no test. So we'll see if pytest can even work with that. We have to install our custom version of pluggy so that all of those monkey patches work. Oh, it'd be great if I could spell. Source, pytest, outcomes. Packaging. No module name packaging. That's also true. Do you use Pigeon or is it installed by default? Yes, I do use Pigeon. I have it up over here in Windows. The reason that it ends up here is I have a configuration for my machines that I run. Personal Puppet. So this is a set of Puppet modules that manages my software installation on all of my Linux machines. And I run a VM on my Windows computer, the one that I stream from, and I use the same setup code on a machine that I run directly on the host. So I dual boot Linux and Mac OS on my work laptop, and on my work laptop I use Pigeon to use IRC. And so because I haven't parameterized or I haven't like put an if statement that prevents Pigeon from installing on virtual machines yet. Mostly because I have to like adjust this list whether it's a VM or not, and I just haven't bothered with that yet. But for now, yes, it gets installed in my VM. I don't use it inside my VM, but it does work there. And I do use Pigeon. In fact, I need to specially install it because it doesn't come by default. But that is why Pigeon appears in my VM here. What do you mean no module name packaging? Just manually install it. Path distribution has no attribute project name. Dist dot version. How do I get the name of it? Dist dot metadata? Name? I guess that works. I'm surprised there isn't a name attribute. Seems kind of useful. Hmm. $9.16. Oh, here we go. Questionable convenience. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully this time we'll finally discover, and then we can start trying to performance test it. Oh my goodness, it's working. The output looks sane. Oh goodness, lots of output. Here we go. Yeah, pluggy, pytest. Okay, so let's install that in this virtual nav. And hopefully it should be faster. Assuming I didn't do all this work for nothing. That looks slower. Damn it. Okay. Way slower. Oh, that one's faster though. Maybe my computer's under load? Yeah, it doesn't help to performance test at this high of a level when you're also encoding video and streaming to the internet. There's a lot of CPU work going on. Let's show. Let's see. Yeah, like when my CPU is on, oh, I guess like 12% utilization isn't so bad. Most of that is, what's disk? Yeah, most of that is OBS encoding video, I guess. Why did this not go any faster? Oh, so it's still loading package resources. If I comment this out. Yeah, so we're still going through package resources one way or another. Why though? One way to figure out how is to make it fail. That's still using package resources. Interesting that I somehow missed this. It doesn't explode now. That means we've eliminated package resources. And only 100 milliseconds of runtime? I was hoping it would be slightly more than that, but that's still 22% of startup. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I kind of expected it to be more. Whoa. It's still importing package resources. Or at least, well, these are so wildly different every time. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to do more performance analysis offline, but I think I have it working. But let me run some of these tests, see how they're doing. And then I'll probably call it for today, because I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, and not gonna lie, I'm a little a little tired of staring at this. Testing test entry points. Oh, that passes. This one does not pass. Oh. Didn't fix this test. Don't hide me. Well, yikes, I guess. Project name. Well, that one's gonna be broken. We'll fix that one in a second. Fewer failed this time, I think. 5 failed the previous time. And 2 failed this time. What was supposed to happen here? Oh, I didn't fix the, this plugin pre-parse prevents setup tools loading. Yeah, we didn't adjust the package resources stuff there. Or here. Okay, so we expected those two to fail. Oh, what? Oh, this probably means that some plugin didn't get loaded. Yeah, check first was supposed to be a fixture. Oh well, I didn't get it working. I'll get it working some other day. But thank you all for stopping by. I guess I'm gonna wind it down here. So I usually stream once a week on Fridays at 1 p.m. or Fridays. On Saturdays at 1 p.m., which was today's stream. I also sometimes stream at 6 p.m. These are in Pacific time. Also sometimes streams at 6 p.m. during the week, but those ones are sporadic. I do announce the streams before I stream on Twitter, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/codewithanthony, where I basically post a tweet like this, and that's most of what I tweet about is this, and then like shit posting about Python. But so if you want to follow me there to get stream notifications. What is a Python fixture? Okay, I'll answer that once I get through my spiel. And if you missed any part of the stream and want to catch the rest of the stream, or the rest of the video, I usually upload those to YouTube. Those are youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode, so that one is the same as my Twitch handle, unlike my Twitter. And all of my previous streams, well, since I've been recording, are up on YouTube, so you can find those there. But yeah, let me answer your question, and then I'll find someone to raid, and we'll do that dance. What is a Python fixture? So this is actually a feature of pytest. So is this working pytest? Yeah. So in pytest, you can make fixtures, and they get basically named based on their function name. So let's call this my fixture. And you can do any amount of like setup code here, or like if you need to set up and tear down, you can do like let's do a contrived example where x starts at none and global x. You can do what's called a yield fixture and reset the value. Let's see, x, original. So this is a fixture which, while it's activated, the global x will be equal to the value 5. We'll keep track of the original x value so that we can reassign it later. And we can write a test which uses this fixture, and in pytest, fixtures are magical. The way they get used is you specify a function argument that matches the name of the fixture, and pytest will do some magic to call this in the right way and stick the value of the fixture. I guess let's say we'll have this fixture give a value of 9001. And this is how you basically say, I want to use this fixture. And so you can say like assert my fixture equals 9001. Thank you, itch 7 years, 7YR for following. Every follow counts. And then you can also like, assert our side effect here, which was setting x to the value 5 up here. Well, thank you for following. If we want another test that shows like x doesn't get assigned, we could do this here. And so the way pytest will do this is it'll discover this whole module, it'll discover this function, notice that it has this fixture, and say, okay, when I run this test, I need to call this fixture, and since it's a yield fixture, it'll take this, it'll execute it as if it's a generator, grab the yielded value, and call test1 with that value here, and pause here while the test is running, and then after the test finishes, it'll run this bit. And so these tests should both pass. So if we cd to temp and demonstrate that. Oh right. I was breaking pytest, so that doesn't surprise me that it's broken. Pip uninstall pytest. Just reinstall pytest so that it's no longer broken. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I need to uninstall and reinstall pluggy also. And not have typos. Okay. So now we should have 2 passing tests. Yeah, so basically everything that I said would happen as soon as I fixed my typo happened. And that's how fixtures work. Does that answer your question? Yeah, ciao. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, let me find someone to raid. How do I do this? Bad at Twitch. Right, so let's find someone who's programming. That hopefully doesn't have too many viewers. Oh, I'm in the top 6, so let's find someone below me. Oh, or we'll raid friends. Who's online that we'll raid webdev TV. They're a good streamer. They're working on a cool JavaScript MMO. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you around.